SCP-5144 Object Class Safe Special Containment Procedures SCP-5144 is to be kept in a medium plastic container at Biosite-95, locked in a steel safe in the office of Dr. Zaretsky when not in use. SCP-5144's containment is to be filled with a thin layer of substrate, moistened with 200 ml of water when required. 50 grams of decaying plant matter is to be added to the container on a monthly basis. The windows in Dr. Zaretsky's office are to remain closed at all times. Description: SCP-5144 is an anomalous fungus resembling Strophoria aeruginosa, with a stem height of approximately 7 cm and a cap width of approximately 8 cm. In its unaltered state, SCP-5144 appears to have adnate, pale gray gills and a convex blue-green cap. When it is not absorbing nutrients, SCP-5144 is capable of retracting its hypha, allowing it to move around. SCP-5144's anomalous properties occur when any living organism touches SCP-5144, including plants and animals. SCP-5144 will then begin to shift its appearance in order to exhibit various physical characteristics and movements that are believed to be representation of the subject's psyche. Update: July 22, 2020. Further observation of SCP-5144's anomalous properties has concluded that repeated interaction with SCP-5144 allows the object to display deeper insight into the subject's subconscious. The means that SCP-5144 uses to obtain this insight is currently unknown. Addendum 5144-A Discovery SCP-5144 became known to the Foundation on September 17, 2020, after a recording of a mushroom changing color when touched by a group of British adolescents was uploaded to a popular video streaming site. The video has since been removed from the site, and Class B amnestics has been administered to the group involved in its creation. Addendum 5144-B Experiment Log Date: November 22, 2019 Test 5144-01 SCP-5144 was exposed to a plant, which was then burned with a lighter. Results: SCP-5144 turned black and released smoke-like spores, indicating SCP-5144's properties extend to plant life as well as fauna. Date: December 20th, 2019 Test 5144-02 SCP-5144 was exposed to a solid steel block, which was then hit with a hammer to test if its anomalous properties also worked on inanimate objects. Results: no response. Note: this is a waste of Foundation resources. You aren't going to get an emotional response from a block of metal. Do not let this happen again. Site-95 Director. Date: January 13th, 2020 Test 5144-3 After several weeks under the care of Dr. Zaretsky, SCP-5144 was exposed to an image of an orb weaver spider. Dr. Zaretsky has told me that she suffers with arachnophobia, and as such this test is to see if SCP-5144 has picked up on this. Results: SCP-5144 began to exhibit movement, rolling away from the image. It seems SCP-5144 acquired Dr. Zaretsky arachnophobia. Note: the only people I told about this prior to testing was Dr. Danielle Baker and my husband. SCP-5144 had no way of knowing of my phobia prior to this. Dr. Zaretsky. Date: February 10th, 2020 Test 5144-04 SCP-5144 was exposed to a lab rat that had been conditioned to be fearful of fungi. A mirror was placed on the experiment area in order to test how SCP-5144 reacted to its reflection. Results: SCP-5144 rolled away from its own reflection, moving whenever the mirror was placed in front of it again. SCP-5144 was shaking following this experiment. Date: March 22, 2020 Test 5144-05. SCP-5144 was placed in a containment cell with SCP-1077 to test interaction between other anomalous fungi. Results: SCP-5144 and SCP-1077 both began emitting an exponential amount of spores. D-2304 was sent in to retrieve SCP-5144 and was immediately quarantined to observe the effects of these spores. When the effect of SCP-1077 became apparent in D-2304, two voices tried to speak at the same time. One voice sounded particularly scratchy and static, which is believed to be a poor attempt on SCP-5144's part to replicate SCP-1077. This put immense strain on D-2304's vocal cords, leaving some permanent damage. Notice: December 29, 2019. After personnel assigned to SCP-5144 reported observing several anomalous effects of SCP-5144 during general daily care, it has been suggested that an observation log should be kept to document these instances alongside formal experiments. Addendum 5144-C. Dr. Zartsky's Audio Observation Log. December 27, 2019. How do we even work this thing? Have we not changed voice recorder since the 80s or something? Forward. This is Dr. Mabel Zartsky, mycologist and lead researcher of SCP-5144. This log will be used as a means of immediately documenting anomalous properties of SCP-5144 as they occur in real time. I confirm this log will be used solely by myself for research purposes only. If this tape has been discovered, please contact either myself or the Site-95 director immediately. Great. How do I turn it off now? December 28, 2019. SCP-5144 periodically changes its color. It is suspected that this may be related to emotional shifts. I have requested that junior researcher Dr. Danielle Baker cause a forced emotional shift in myself when it is not expecting so we can observe the effects. January 4th, 2020. Shh. Stop laughing, Danny. This is important. Junior researcher Dr. Danielle Baker provoked a startle reaction from me by hiding under the desk and grabbing my legs as I was about to sit. SCP-5144 almost immediately flinched upon the event, changing color to a deep red. This confirms suspicion that the color changes are affected by mood. January 13th, 2020. Testing was done to see if SCP-5144 itself possesses emotions, or if it simply adapts to those around it. A pin was pressed into SCP-5144's base repeatedly. No visible reaction. SCP-5144 was then exposed to a noise designed to cause stress response in people. I wore ear deafeners to avoid contaminating results, and again, no reaction. The pin pricks healed within 2 minutes of creation. January 28th, 2020. SCP-5144 has demonstrated its shape-shifting capabilities when looking at pictures of other fungi. It was able to replicate them with extreme accuracy. When looking at an artist's conch, it was able to replicate the marking capabilities of the fungus. This effect only works with other mushrooms, however, as when shown any other object, it reverts to its original state. February 8th, 2020. SCP-5144 appears to be showing demonstrations of thoughts I have not made obvious or said aloud. I was recently feeling slightly hungry, and SCP-5144 began emitting a scent similar to that of fried food. Further testing is needed. February 16th, 2020. SCP-5144 has ceased appearing in pictures. This effect seems to affect all forms of digital camera. It is unclear exactly when this effect started due to the fact that SCP-5144 is not routinely photographed, and this may relate to my personal dislike of being photographed. Requests to Office Security Feed to find this exact moment have been requested. February 29th, 2020. SCP-5144 had a strong reaction to Dr. Danielle Baker. Upon entering the office, SCP-5144 turned a hot pink color, inching towards Baker whilst emitting a pleasant aroma, similarly to that of roses. Upon checking, SCP-5144 was warm to the touch, reasons unknown. I may speak to Dr. Baker and ask if she had any prior interactions with 5144 which may elicit this reaction. March 12th, 2020. SCP-5144 was on the desk as I was taking notes. Another member of the research personnel walked in and immediately 5144 fell over to cover the notes. Reasons are unknown. March 20th, 2020. I was speaking to my husband via my phone today, general conversation, nothing abnormal. SCP-5144 fell over on the end call button. It is not apparent whether this was accidental or not. April 1st, 2020. At precisely 12:08 p.m. today, my time of birth, SCP-5144 turned gray and wrinkled. Reasons are unclear. April 2nd, 2020. After this event, I considered my own emotions and have realized I may be fearful of aging. This possibly confirms suspicions that SCP-5144 is able to interpret subconscious thoughts. May 2nd, 2020. SCP... Fuck it. Danielle, no, I'm not crying. I'm not upset. I need to go. Thank you for listening to SCP-5144. If you enjoyed this SCP, please follow the link in the description to the SCP Wiki, and vote it up to support the author, as well as the SCP Wiki as a whole.